Welcome back, everyone. This is Dave with the Core Productions Deep Dive TV podcast. My co-host Stacie here to talk about Paradise, Season 2, Episode 3, titled Another Day in Paradise. This is the end of our little podcasting marathon that we've had going on.
Our Paradise week.
Yes.
It's been a heck of a week.
It has been. The episode's description reads as follows. Sinatra awakes to discover a new paradigm in the bunker and takes steps to safeguard its biggest secret. The episode is written by Scott Weinger. Not sure. Aladdin, okay, yes. Also Full House, and Fuller House, he's also known as Steve in those shows.
There was a post I saw recently on social media that was like, when you hear the name Steve, who do you think of? And people were like, Steve Urkel, and I don't even know who, Steve Harvey, like all these Steves, right? And for me, it was him.
Gotcha.
For me, it was Full House.
Well,
he's my only Steve in my brain.
Okay. And this is his second directed episode of this series. The episode was directed by Ken Olin. 32 episodes of This Is Us and 10 episodes of Tracker. The only thing this guy has been doing recently has been directing episodes that feature This Is Us people.
There you go.
And before we go further, I'll tell you a couple things. One, this is not a sport-free podcast. So if you haven't watched the episode, I highly recommend you go check it out, and then come back and give us a listen. Secondly, if you're listening on one of the platforms of this podcast is now available on, please follow, and feel free to check out our YouTube channel, Core Productions, where additional content can be discovered. If you're already on our YouTube channel, please like, share, and comment, and subscribe to our channel. All right.
Hiding something funny?
Just my ability to get through that.
You've only done it 326 times, approximately.
Yes, basically, I think we might even be more than that at this point. But yeah, we have a birthday shout out.
Okay.
February 28th, Alice Kremmelberg.
Ooh.
This is, of course, Quantum Leap, the reboot version. The Sinner and Teacup. Those are all things that we have covered on this channel.
Yes, love Alice. She was in Teacup for about 5 seconds.
Right.
She would have been featured pretty heavily in Season 2, I'm sure, if we got a Season 2. Unfortunately, we didn't.
It got NBC'd, as you like to say.
It got NBC'd. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right, so your thoughts on this week's episode. I know you're really excited to talk about this one.
I am. I'm happy that we finally can talk about the 3 episodes kind of in their entirety. And what we think about moving forward. So I'm glad we're finally back in the bunker. We're getting to see all these characters again. It's a little weird that they split these 3 episodes up so drastically that we got 0 Paradise until episode 3.
Yeah, it's
and then
it's
also
unique.
we have 0 Xavier in this episode.
Well, no, we have a little bit of Xavier in this episode.
Do we?
Yes, we do. We have an extension of a scene that took place last season that we did not see when during the whole...
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
Robinson. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
So we see a little bit of...
We did get him in that one scene.
No Shailene Woodley this week, though.
Right. But we do have Link. Thomas Doherty has been in all 3 episodes. He's the only person...
That's linked throughout this...
Who has been in all 3 episodes.
Yeah.
He must be important.
Right.
And this is where we are going to find out a little bit more about who is Alice. That was hinted at.
Alex.
Who is Alex? See, I got Alice Kremmelberg in front of me. No, not her.
Right.
Who is Alex? We were told in episode 1 that Link and Geiger and that whole crew is trying to kill Alex, and we went, who the F is Alex? Well, this episode we learn who or what is Alex. Although we still don't know. We got lots of ideas, though, and I can't wait to talk about them.
So, yeah, this is the first episode that actually feels like Paradise.
Yes.
I mean, yes, every episode was, obviously in the world of Paradise, but this is the first one to actually feature the dome, the bunker.
And multiple characters that we already know.
Right, and we haven't actually seen most of these characters for 3 episodes. Having actually watched these 3 episodes, I can see why they decided to release all 3 at the same time. At first I was kind of concerned, like, they're just trying to burn off episodes. But no, that doesn't seem to be the case. It seems to be the case that they were basically just, it was a creative decision.
Yeah. But also getting 3 at a time, taking our time, meeting these new characters, exploring the world in such a slow way, really makes me wish we were getting more than 8 episodes.
Yeah.
Because we're already at the point where there's only 5 episodes left.
Right.
Like, what the heck is that about?
And we're going to go from this, really slow pace to, just having to ratchet it up in the next 5 episodes.
Right.
Yeah, it's going to be quite insane. Do we have anything else to say before diving in?
I think we should go for it, go through the episode, and then geek out about theories after that.
The episode begins with Sinatra in a coma, flashing to the moment she's talking to Cal Bradford after the speech by Dr. Louge. We continue from the moment that she chases after that doctor.
And I feel like that was really cool.
Yeah.
We took a scene we already saw and we'd moved directly forward through it. I loved that choice.
She wants to pick his brain a little bit more. He needs a drink. She invites herself along for this drink. She says, I drink. And the waiter recognizes her as the person who created that app. Dr. Louge asks for the most expensive shot. Unfazed, Sinatra takes an entire bottle and gets the math right.
It costs $1,360. She's trying to impress him.
And he is very much not impressed.
Yeah. The bartender here is played by Jax Burrish. He was in 2 episodes of NCIS Hawaii and 11 episodes of a show called Trading Yesterday.
Dr. Louge says he wasn't kidding when he said digging a hole is the only option. And she's 2 decades away from being able to save the world. Or, she's too
decades too late.
That's what I meant to say. And building a hole is on her to-do list. Dr. Louge explains Venus syndrome. He says, the apocalypse happens, people die, but not everyone. A few years go by, and things seem to get better. Oh, we made it. We're so lucky. Not so fast, morons. And that's his phrasing. The trapped greenhouse gases causes the temperature to rise, and then the pressure crushes everything still standing. Everyone that was, is still alive at this point will wish they had died on day 1. Sinatra says she comes up with solutions to big problems. Dr. Louge continues to be unimpressed. There is only one thing that can fix this, and it's the one thing she can't buy. Sinatra asks what, and his answer is time.
Ooh, that seems like a very important statement. Now let's regroup what happened here. This is the first day, she was told the world's ending. Nobody believes this guy. Nobody takes him seriously. Only 5 people stayed for his lecture at this event of important people who were there for other lectures. She takes him seriously. She takes this information and she goes and builds an underground world that costs bajillions of dollars to save humanity. And in the same conversation, the other thing he's telling her is, you need time and you can't buy time.
Right.
Let's remember that.
Right. And present day, Sinatra opens her eyes, and then we have our credits.
And we have a nurse checking on her. Her nurse here is played by Rebecca Tripp. She's in 2 episodes of Country Clubbed and an episode of Break a Hip. I've never heard of either of those projects.
Well, I don't know that I want to watch that one. Sinatra awakens, and after the credits, we see a flashback to Cal Bradford on the night he won his first election. Sinatra is more worried about the
9 years ago, it tells us.
She's more worried about the Colorado project. Cal says that now that he's in a position, he can remove all the red tape, and even if the worst happens, he's not buying it, by the way, he can make her life's work happen. All right, so Cal here is not taking the whole end of the world thing seriously.
Right.
At this point, at this juncture, when does he start to take this seriously?
I imagine that this is when he's first, won. I imagine once he gets sweared in, he starts actually learning shit. Like, they start showing him proof and documents and government secrets, and maybe he'll learn to take it seriously once, the evidence is in front of him. That it really isn't yet. He's just getting really second and third hand at this point. The stuff that she's saying, the stuff that his father's saying. I don't know. Or maybe he never took it seriously until, the bunker was actually done. And he was told, you're going to be the president of this place.
And she tells him it was never about the bunker.
It was never about the bunker.
I'm going to ask, why did she even say this to him? If he had followed up, if he'd actually, heard this comment and actually said something back, what is it about then?
Well, here's the thing. He might know.
Okay.
He might know what her project is, but he doesn't believe it, doesn't take it seriously.
Gotcha.
Because we're going to, in a moment, see Kane's
yes.
position on this, and all he does is call it her side project.
Right.
He doesn't really take it seriously, and he's taking the end of the world seriously. So,
yes. Kane comes to congratulate his son, and we see Marcia again, the very dead Marcia.
Never thought we were going to see her again. Marcia, played by Amy Peets.
Yep, and she says something along the lines of, "You'll never get rid of me." Oh, yes, he will.
Ah, Marcia.
Exactly. Out of earshot, Kane calls Cal a moron. Sinatra says he's smarter than he thinks. And Kane says he knows, but don't tell his son that. He understands that she is having a problem with her side project. A developer of the technology she needs is not going to sell. Sinatra says the literal fate of the world rests on it. And Kane says there is a man she needs to meet, a very different type of person.
Yeah, and he's going to introduce her, which is interesting. It's very interesting that Kane is the person who introduced Sinatra to Billy. How did Kane know him?
Right.
Like, there's more history here. Kane knows everything.
He does.
Or at least he did before he started losing his memory capacity. He's very interesting. I'd love a whole episode just about him.
Well, given that this is Dan Fogelman, I'm sure you'll get your wish at some point.
Yeah. You know what? Like, all the way back, I want to see a younger version of him. And I want to see him and how he's, like, actually integral to everything that's been happening.
Sinatra asks the nurse how long she's been out. It's been about a month. And she asks, what's happening? And we see a police influence in the city. And President Baines' picture all over the place. At every single point, this person demonstrates his weakness as a person. He says that he knows Sinatra thinks of him as a small person later. He very much is. And he demonstrates that at every point. And so I'll give the example of it's basically little dog syndrome. The little dog, they are the ones that are always the most yippity yappity. They're the ones that are the most barky. The only time I ever gotten bitten by a dog in my life is by a small dog. I think Baines has little dog syndrome.
Okay.
Because throughout he's trying to be big, tough, and heavy-handed in everything that he does and taking care of the uprising or whatever was going on, and how he handles Sinatra. He basically demonstrates weakness throughout. Yeah.
But pretty much what he's done at this point is he's turned the whole paradise into a police state.
Yes.
We've got armed police in visual Kevlar vests.
Right.
Literally everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
We have more cameras being installed. This time they're not being installed secretly. They're visible. So everybody knows they're there.
Yep. Police and surveillance state at the same time.
It's not a great dynamic.
No. He's basically become a little dictator. And, we see a kid that I believe is a rebellious teen played by Anthony Jordan Robinson.
I didn't end up taking credits for Anthony because it didn't look like him visually. This made sense that this was him, but it did not look like him. But according to IMDb, this person's in the episode, so...
Yeah, 15 credits for him, including 2 episodes of Bel Air. And basically, there's teens out there painting X's... and we don't know what this means yet.
Right.
Though when we do
in just a moment.
Yeah.
In just a moment we get to that.
He's basically arrested by the cops.
Hauled off in a black van. Nothing creepy about that.
Right. I don't remember seeing police vehicles last season at all. I don't know if they didn't exist. And
they had to have existed because they're not importing them.
Right. Well, no. I think maybe they painted police vehicles and I don't know. So Presley makes her way down to the free book thing and finds a letter from Jeremy. She takes it home, and her friends are the letter basically says that his friends are disappearing into secret prisons. They are painting X's in honor of her dad. So X means Xavier.
Yes.
We see,
and he says we need to do something bigger. So we know Jeremy at the end of last season was in a place where basically the last message he got was from his dad was, if you don't like the world I built, make it better. And he's decided to make it better. He is leading the kind of revolution against the current government.
We see Robinson with her brand new hairstyle, and we flash back to last season, and we see a little extension of that scene. Jane comes back to the house saying that Sinatra is still alive. She's crying. Xavier tells her that she did well, but Robinson is starting to get a little suspicious here, asking, how'd you even know to go there? And Xavier says he will take the blame for everything. Robinson is not thrilled with this. And he tells Robinson not to fight back until he gets back there with his wife. And, not for nothing, but if he takes the blame for shooting Sinatra, when he comes back with his wife, is he just going to be arrested?
Right.
Like, why is this his plan?
Well, I think part of it is he's like, they're going to blame me anyways. Like, they're already blaming me for killing the president, and now the dude who did kill the president is dead. He's like, it's all going to fall on me anyway, so you might as well let it. and he'll just worry about that later, make it a tomorrow problem. Basically, he's worried about Jane and Robinson and his kids, and, he doesn't want anything bad to happen to them while he's gone because they're taking the blame.
Gotcha. Presley enters and notices the hair, the new hairstyle, and we learn that Robinson has been demoted. James says he appreciates her looking after him, and Robinson says that he can return the favor by staying out of trouble. She says Jeremy has gone full Les Mis and Les Miserables. Is that what she's referring to? So Jeremy is stealing bread? I'm not sure I quite get the reference.
She's saying he's stay out of trouble, and he is trouble.
Gotcha.
Basically, stay away from Jeremy Bradford.
Presley says that at least he's doing something. Robinson says her dad is coming back. She wants her to keep her nose clean until he does. And she agrees to do so, but sneaks a letter to her brother, so she has absolutely zero intention of following through on what she just said to Robinson. Tarabi we see briefly at the office, and she leaves. Robinson's main job is now driving Jane around.
Yeah, so her new boss, because she was making coffee for her new boss, right? Her new boss is Jane. The tables have turned. Jane no longer works for her. She works for Jane. Jane is the lead agent now.
Right. Jane is considered a hero, and they are driving to Hercules. That's another overcompensation thing from Baines. His Secret Service code name is Hercules.
Right.
So, yeah, I think that was definitely his choice and definitely a way of showing strength when he is, in fact, a very weak man who is on a power trip. Using a heavy-handed approach, he says in a meeting that he's pacified the population with his Gestapo tactics, and he wants to create summer as a means to make people happy. His techs think that they can't pull that off, and another tech brings up the fact that some of the power is going to Sinatra's project. Baines asks Tarabi about this. Tarabi doesn't know anything about this project, and she says that her and Sinatra are on a break. She's also in a coma at this point. I mean,
she's awake now.
She doesn't know that yet, though.
I think she knows that, but
okay.
I think everybody but Baines knows that, is the impression I got.
Right, because he's incompetent.
Because nobody takes him seriously.
Right.
The one who said that that they don't have enough power because Sinatra is siphoning it off is Morton. We met him last season. He's the guy that works in the tower.
Yes, gotcha.
And was trying to stop the sky thing.
Right.
And then I found it interesting during this. So this is their cabinet now. It's all the billionaires. Baines and Tarabi has a seat at the table because she's buddied up with Baines now. And then we've got Secret Service here, obviously. Because, one thing you and I were wondering is who's vice president right now. It's really not clear if there's anyone else in the government. It's all just these billionaires.
And it's very relevant after this episode, who the vice president
exactly. is. But we have some of the billionaires. Now, there's nobody new here that we've never met before. Here's something interesting. We have billionaires number 2, 3, and 4, who we met last season, who all have lines in this scene, but they're credited with names now.
Oh.
We've got names. So billionaire number 2, who's played by Miguel Najera, his name now is Victor Cordova. Billionaire number 3, played by Roberta Hanlon, is now credited as Sandra Richardson. And billionaire number 4, played by Jonathan Tanigaki, the character is now credited as Peter Cato. So I think that the billionaires are going to get more to do this season because they're giving them names now. So that's who they are now. Victor, Sandra, and Peter are 3 of the billionaires. Could one of them be the next in line of succession? Maybe.
I mean, maybe, possibly.
They must have a line of succession. We just don't know what it is, right?
And then Anders pipes up to say that Baines is an idiot, that this will melt down the system, and then asks if this is the part where he gets arrested. And yep.
Yes, it is.
And by the way, this answers the question that we had from last season.
Right.
Actually, at first we didn't even know if this was Anders.
He looks a little different, right?
He does look very different. And so, he did actually get a spot in the bunker. And
right. We didn't see him in the present day of season 1.
Right.
We only saw him in the flashback.
This is only his 3rd appearance. We saw him in the 2nd episode of the series, and then we saw him in the finale last season.
Right, but both in flashbacks of, when the bunker was being built. And like you said, we weren't sure if he earned a place. This is, of course, the architect that designed the whole bunker for Sinatra, physically designed it. And he's played by Eric Svenberg Zellman. I was happy to see him back. I'm glad he got a spot in the bunker, unlike Dr. Luge, who pretty much we think he didn't.
I think that even if he was offered a spot, he wouldn't have taken it because that's just the general attitude that he seemed to have.
Well, let's remember, he said anyone who survives is going to wish they died on day one.
Right.
So he wants to die on day one.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
So he's hauled off, and Bane says he wants to be alerted the second Sinatra wakes up. And Jane points out that happened 2 days ago.
Actually, it was an aide that pointed this out. Okay. This aide is played by Nicole Wolfe. This is her first appearance. She's in an episode of The Pit, 5 episodes of Runaways, and the film La La Land.
Jeremy watches as Anders is taken away from a distance. Sinatra is with her husband and daughter, and she's going home tomorrow. And this is the first reference to Carmen, who we'll meet later. Sinatra apologizes and starts getting emotional, saying that she will do better. Jane enters and asks if she can have a moment, and Sinatra's like, I guess so. It's okay. And basically her family leaves. Jane asks what she remembers, and Sinatra claims she doesn't remember anything. I believe this is a lie.
It definitely is a lie. They're playing chicken, right?
Right.
Jane's like, what do you remember? And she's like, why don't you tell me what I should remember?
So Sinatra is lying. I'm pretty sure Jane knows that she's lying.
Yeah.
This entire conversation is basically bullshit.
They're feeling each other out, right? How are we going to play this?
Right.
Which of us is going to kill the other one? Or are we going to work together?
Jane says if she remembers more, that Jane did what she had to keep her clean.
Right. I mean, first she tells her the official story, which is that Xavier shot her.
Right.
And she's like, but if you remember something different, no, that I did what I had to do.
Right.
And she's like, well, thanks then. Thank you.
The bad news is Bane wants to see her. So Jane takes her to the building. Sinatra runs into Tarabi. Sinatra seems happy to see Tarabi. She says they have a lot to talk about. And, of course, Tarabi agrees. Sinatra is brought into the lie detector thing that we saw last season. Xavier was under the influence of that last season. Meanwhile, James gets a note and slips another one into the book. His note says to meet at 6. He decides not to deliver this message.
Yeah, James throws the note in the garbage saying something like, stay away from my sister.
And then
Don't fling my sister.
Right, yes. Sinatra asks about normal control questions like who is she, whether she has kids or not. And Tarabi's being kind of mean to her there because she specifically asks, how many kids do you have?
I have a theory about this, but by the end of the episode, I don't think this theory holds water.
Okay.
But when I was rewatching this scene, I got a kind of feeling. I was wondering in this scene, but again, by the end of the episode, I don't think so anymore, if Tarabi's in on it. If Tarabi does know, just based on this scene, if Tarabi does know about Alex.
I don't think she does.
And if the way she's asking these questions is just putting on a public appearance and trying to help Sinatra sway the results of the lie detector, the same way she helped Xavier sway his lie detector results.
Yeah, based on the end of this episode, I don't think that's
right,
the
based
case.
on the end of the episode, I don't think that's the case. But in this scene, the way she's setting her up, she says, how many kids do you have? And Sinatra kind of pauses a second. She doesn't really know how to answer that. And then Tarabi's the one who says, 1 living, 1 deceased. Is that correct?
I thought she was trying to get a rise out of Sinatra by mentioning going after that weak spot.
But then the next question, the real question, the one they actually want to know the answer to is, are you siphoning power? But the way she asks it, she says, are you siphoning power for your own gain?
She doesn't say that until the second time she asks that question.
I'm pretty sure she said it every time, didn't she?
Nope. The first time she only asks if she is siphoning power away from the bunker. The second time that we get asked that question, it's for your own gain. I'm pretty sure that's the case.
Well, one thought I had, and this will come into, I know we're going to talk about this later, but, if there's any chance that her son exists in some format, in some reality, if some part of Sinatra's brain still thinks that she's a parent of 2.
Okay.
That her saying, yes, I have 1... If her answering yes to that specific question, I have 1 child alive, 1 deceased, was the baseline question, and if she's answering that in a way that she doesn't believe is true, then that would sway her answer to the second question.
Okay.
Do you know what I'm saying?
No, but...
If you're not answering the baseline questions correctly,
right,
it's going to reverse the other questions.
Okay.
That's how a lie detector works.
Gotcha. Okay.
So, I don't know, just the wording here, like, it was very strange wording all the way through. And just remembering the first season lie detector test and how that played out.
Yes.
It just felt like there could be more going on here.
Okay.
With the details.
Gotcha.
But later, yeah, I don't think by the end of this episode we can think that Tarabi's in on it unless she's playing a real long con double spy thing.
Right. I don't believe that's to be the case. But, when she gets asked this question, she doesn't answer it right away. We cut to the past. Sinatra meets up with Billy Pace for the first time, and the power dynamics here are completely different.
Yes.
Like, Sinatra, she's more meek, and it's interesting. It's kind of like we're seeing a stepping stone between the Sinatra that we saw in the past scenes versus the Sinatra who's willing to kill just about everyone.
Right.
She's quite
not
a bit...
the person we know yet.
Right.
She's just kind of being introduced to this world. And, we learned it was Kane who's introducing her to this world.
Right.
And it's a really awkward meeting between them.
Pace tells her to calm down or he's walking away. I don't even know what she's doing wrong here.
She keeps wanting to talk about it.
Right. Yeah.
And I've never, been involved in, a hit conversation, but I'm pretty sure the first rule is don't talk about it in public.
Right.
Don't actually say, I'm hiring you to, end someone.
Okay, so if I ever get into that situation, I will make sure not to do that. Though I don't plan on, planning on any assassinations at this time.
But I think that the point is she is very unfamiliar with how this works.
Right.
And he's worried if she's a reliable person he should be working with.
So she hands him a photograph. She's about to say if he doesn't play ball to kill him, but Pace says not to say it out loud, that she's really shitty at this. Sinatra answers she doesn't know. Okay, so, we cut back to the present day.
Yeah.
Sinatra answers she doesn't know what they're talking about. Baines asks her to ask again. Tarabi adds, for your own personal gain here. And she says, no, this is probably not a lie, because yes, she is siphoning off power, but she is not doing it for her own personal gain.
Right.
Anyway, that's
At
my
least she
take.
doesn't believe she is.
Right. Sinatra asks Tarabi if she will ever forgive her. This is very similar to Cal and Xavier last season, when Cal asks Xavier if he can ever forgive him. So I thought that was an interesting parallel. Sinatra again answers no to Tarabi's question. Bane comes out and says, this is bullshit. It's no longer her show. She will give him the answers he needs. And at this point, I'm saying, he's gonna die. And I was more right than I even imagined. But yeah, Bane says that he knows she thinks that he is a small man. He very much is. Baines ends up leaving a hup. He tells the guards to take her home and stand guard. She's at this point under house arrest. And Sinatra says, that man needs a breath mint. I had no idea she was ordering her assassination.
Yeah, this is so beautiful on rewatch. And if you missed this, go back and watch.
Yeah.
In fact, go back and watch all episodes of the series again. This series deserves rewatches once you know more things. I feel like after every episode, we got to watch the whole series again.
Right. And we see Jane smiling to this
She does this little nod, which
Right.
is so, such a powerful scene once you know what the frick's actually happening.
Right.
Which you don't the first time you're watching this. Because he's been in her face, and she's just like, your breath stinks.
Right.
That's all that happened on the surface.
Right.
But yeah, to him being like, oh, you think I'm a small man, but I actually, I was a senator and this and this and this. He's got imposter syndrome.
He does.
Because he knows he wasn't elected president. He knows he's only here because Cal was murdered.
Right.
And he's overcompensating for it.
Yeah, absolutely. Little dog syndrome. In the past, Billy meets up with Henry Miller in a bar. He's played by Patrick Fischler, 143 credits. Quantum Leap, the reboot. He was in the Ben Interrupted episode. American Fiction, and an episode of Billions. That's what he's done since Quantum Leap.
This man is so recognizable to me. He's been in so many things. No stranger to our particular flavor of genre television.
Yes.
And just seeing this man on the screen helps reinforce all of the crazy theories that we're going to talk about in a few minutes. I think if it was an actor I didn't recognize, I wouldn't even be half as excited about the possibilities here. In addition to being in Quantum Leap, he was in the Salem episode of Timeless, 6 episodes of Twin Peaks. He was the author in 8 episodes of Once Upon a Time, the one who was writing the story. And he was in 9 episodes of Lost as a Dharma guy in the part where they, jump back in time. So he's been in all kinds of sci-fi, fantasy, weird, time travel, crazy stories.
Right.
Lots and lots and lots of them.
Okay, so they chat and they bond. He talks about a brilliant young man who understands his class.
Yeah, so he's a professor.
Right.
He teaches advanced wave functioning, superposition, and quantum entanglement.
Which, that was a funny reference, because, of course, that was a big thing in the Quantum Leap revival.
Right.
And also, I'm pretty confident that if there were a grade less than an F, that is what I would get in his class.
I'm with Billy. I don't know what those words mean, but it sure hints to the stuff we're going to talk about.
Right, yeah.
It sounds aligned to me.
Yeah, so he's talking about his brilliant young man who knows the class better than anyone. He's his partner.
And he also said he's 10 years younger than anyone else in the class, which fits because this is a master's. It's a master's level class.
Okay.
So these people, the kids in here are in their mid-20s, and for this kid to be 10 years younger, he's a teenager.
Right. And he also says that he's the closest thing that he had to a son. He hasn't, had the ability to have a son or any kind of, kid with his wife. And then he says, whoa, maybe I should, cut back here and not talk about my wife's story.
One quote he said about him and his protege here? He said they've made some pretty great leaps together.
Oh.
I picked up on that line.
Okay, I missed that one completely. Billy says he doesn't get out to do this very much. Henry asks, no bars where you come from, which is a deliberate callback to Xavier Billy scene from last season.
Right. This whole conversation, this whole setup is.
Right, yeah.
But the important thing here isn't just that Billy recycled the setup.
Yes.
It's that Henry responded in the same way that Xavier did.
Right.
And Billy noticed it.
Yes.
Billy paused. He went, what did you just say?
Right.
Which shouldn't be a thing because this happened earlier.
Yes. Well, I'm not...
There's something here with the way that Billy clocked that moment. Mm-hmm. There was something.
Right. Yeah, I'm not sure what it means exactly, but from Patrick's side, I think he actually has seen that moment in the future with Billy and Xavier. Henry. That's what I meant to say.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could very well be it, that Henry is intentionally saying something from Billy's future. Mm-hmm. But the fact that Billy took pause to it seems intentional and important. I don't know what it means.
I don't either.
But this is one of those moments we need to keep in our head as the story unravels. Because this is a clue to something.
I don't think it was a mistake, for sure, because I think this was very intentional. And
Absolutely.
So Billy finally gets to why he's there in the first place, and he tells him he needs to sign the papers. Basically signing the papers is the easy way. There's a harder way.
And both ways end up with Sinatra owning the company, but only one of them's going to make you a rich man. And the unsaid part is the other one, you're going to not exist anymore.
Right.
So which one do you want?
Henry says there's a lot he doesn't know. Billy doesn't care. Henry asks him if he believes in coincidences or if things happen for a reason. Billy insists that he sign and isn't very subtle about threatening to kill him. He's basically like, I got a gun in my pocket.
He says, well, the gun in my pocket has a reason.
Right. Henry seems to sign and then leaves, but what he actually wrote was his address.
His address, which was, this probably isn't important, but I noted it. The address was 1953 Bluff Avenue, Pasadena. So we're in California.
Baines thinks that the thing with Sinatra was a disaster. Tarabi is not thrilled with his approach, but Jane pipes in to say he was amazing because she's basically sucking up to him. She's basically trying to develop a rapport with Baines for what she's going to do to him later.
Right.
Baines says she's very smart, and he's a very good judge of character. I beg to differ.
Yeah, he likes Jane.
Right. And Robinson, you see her observing this, and, she's definitely cluing into something here, because Robinson is not a fool.
Right. Robinson is a very smart character.
Right. Sinatra spends the evening with her family, and we meet Carmen, played by Maria Elena Las, 30 credits, including the hot chick.
She was in a couple shows I've never heard of, 6 episodes of Vita, and 5 episodes of Warrior.
Her husband asks, what now? Forever house arrest? And Sinatra says she'll figure it out, but that sounds pretty good right now. Robinson looks into Billy Pace's death and reads.
Well, first she reads Jane's file. Oh, you were saying that.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. She pulls up Jane's file just like Xavier last season was looking at Billy's file, and it's the same. Everything's redacted in it. And what I want to know is that what every Secret Service agent's file looks like, or is that what these two look like? Because there actually were like killer spies brought in by Sinatra and not actual like government agents to begin with.
Right. So she reads Jane's file and reads Jane's statement about Billy's death.
Right.
Baines wants to go for a jog alone, and the agent here is played by Christopher Sanders. It's actually his second appearance here. He was in the first episode, so we don't actually need to go through his credits again.
Yes, Christopher Sanders was originally just credited as Agent. Now he has a name. He's Agent Bernard, according to the credits.
Baines wants to go alone, and eventually Jane convinces him to let her go along at a distance.
Yeah, because he likes her, remember?
Right.
So he agrees to that.
He's an excellent judge of character.
Yeah, he's like, I don't want 17 of you, but I'll take this little girl. She can come with me.
Right. He's going to learn, the rather unfortunate way, just how bad of a judge of character that he actually is.
Yeah.
Carmen tells Sinatra that Tarabi is here, and Sinatra greets Tarabi and thanks her for giving her another chance. Tarabi launches into a story about her dad selling a car that he loved. She figured he would be sad, but he just smiled and said, "Good luck, kiddo." She says at some point some things aren't worth fixing anymore. And she stands and says, "Good luck, kiddo." Yikes, that's a heartbreaking breakup scene between the two of them, that's for sure.
And we'll learn later what she was really doing here.
Right. Presley is confused why Jeremy didn't leave a message. James confesses. James was worried about losing her, and she basically gets him to tell her about the note, but she was supposed to be at that place at 6 p.m., and that was an hour ago.
It was an hour ago. It's 7. She's late meeting Jeremy. Uh-oh.
We see Jeremy turn himself in. He's like, "I'm the one you're looking for."
Yeah, he gets arrested, taken away in the van. Presley shows up just in time to see that, so they didn't actually get to talk. So she doesn't know what the plan is now. He was going to fill her in on something, and now she does know.
Right. And Robinson goes to Billy's house. She finds things that contradict Jane's statements, such as and I really love how this was done. We see Jane's statement, and then we see the things that contradict it.
Right.
Like, for instance, we bring up the chronic shoulder pain, and we see that he's got a weight set.
Yeah, he's bench pressing. Why would you have that in your house if you can't do that?
And then the statement indicates that he didn't see a future. He saw nothing to live for, while Robinson is finding a wedding ring?
Engagement ring.
So that means he was going to propose to Jane.
He was getting ready to propose to Jane, which is just so heartbreaking.
Yes.
Like, the layer that adds to it, and I'm going to guess she had no idea.
Right.
It's so heartbreaking. And this is evidence to Robinson. Like, obviously he didn't feel he had nothing to live for, or he wouldn't be preparing to propose.
Right.
So that's a lie, straight out lie.
Right.
And I wonder, would anything have been different if he had proposed before this happened?
No.
Do you think that she would have been swayed?
See, here's the thing. I think that
she's a psychopath?
Yes, or a sociopath at the very least. Yeah, I think that Billy actually has some humanity in him.
Oh, sure. Billy absolutely does.
I don't think he's a sociopath or a psychopath.
Not at all.
But I 100% think that Jane has...
I cannot wait to hear Jane's backstory. They promised us a Jane episode this season. I cannot wait for it.
Me neither.
Because she's such an interesting character.
I don't understand her.
I love her, though.
Yes.
I love watching her. The actress, Nicole Bryden Bloom, she's amazing.
Oh, she absolutely is.
I love her.
So I'm very interested to see if there's any actual humanity in her whatsoever, or if it's all just a show to cover for the fact that she's a complete psychopath or sociopath.
Like, we definitely got the implication early on that she really was, like, enjoying pretending to have a normal life with Billy. Like, going to the carnival, and she genuinely was excited to, eat funnel cake and get sparklers and all this stuff. But then the same day, she's like, "Okay, I'll kill you." I want to know, like, what's going on in this woman's brain. She shot Robinson because she wanted a wee. If she had given her that wee...
Not Robinson.
Sinatra, yes. If she had given her that wee, would she not have shot her? Like, what?
I don't know. she gets nowhere about Baines jogging, and she texts saying she needs a 20 on Jane because at this point she's basically known that Jane is.
She doesn't trust her.
Yeah.
She's fully committed to Jane's a problem.
And maybe she should say something at this point. I don't know. Maybe it would have been a better idea to actually say, "Hey, I think Jane might be trouble."
Well, this is a group text that all the agents receive, including Jane.
Yes.
And that's important.
Yes.
That Jane's seeing this.
Yes, but I think at this point, like, telling people what's going on might be a better idea than what she actually ends up doing. Price arrives
to Henry's house.
To Henry's house. Henry spots him and just goes inside. He leaves the door open for him. He's in his room with his wife, as it turns out, who's a vegetable. And she's played by Gwen Holloway. 52 credits, including This Is Us, Boob Jobs, and Jesus. I want to know what the hell that's about. I don't know why those things connect.
Okay.
And 2 episodes of Studio 60 on the Sunset Strip. That was a very short-lived Aaron Sorkin show.
She also was in 2 episodes of Criminal Minds, 2 episodes of Pretty Little Liars, and the character's name, notably, is Alex.
Yes.
But is this the Alex that we want to kill?
No, because she's already dead.
This isn't that Alex.
He tells her the story of his wife. Basically, he used to get irritated when there was a prediction of 50% rain, and basically his wife turned around thinking about that into, there's a 50% chance that it won't rain. It's a way of looking.
She's very optimistic.
Right. It's a way of looking at the bright side. And Billy, during this entire scene, is looking at him with complete confusion this entire time. He's just like, why are you telling me this? And there is compassion in his eyes. You can see that. And then Henry ends up injecting something into his wife. She dies. He says he will see her soon. At this point, you could take that to mean that he expects to be dead soon, and he's going to join her that way.
Which is true.
Yes.
But also, is there more to it than that? Maybe.
Right. It's quite possible. He asks if he's supposed to be here with Alex and his wife, or if this is just a coincidence. Billy says, "Fuck if he knows, bro." And he requests Billy not to kill the kid.
He says, "I'm going to choose to believe," and I quote, "it all worked, that you are supposed to be here." And then he says, "in which case you're going to need this," and hands him a tissue.
Right.
What?
Right. He tells him that he has kind eyes, and then, basically he says, don't shoot the kid. Their futures may depend on it.
The fate of the world may depend on it, he says.
And then Billy shoots him dead. As he leaves, he sees the kid. He almost fires, and we noticeably see him having a nosebleed. We don't have any of the woo-woo-woo sound effects.
Right. He has a nosebleed.
And we don't have the zh.
We hear kind of a high-pitched noise.
We do hear something.
But there's no zh.
Right.
Yeah.
That's our new continuity. But anyway. So, basically, he puts down a gun. He decides not to kill this kid, which is actually kind of remarkable for Billy at this point.
Which might be... I'll save it. We'll talk about... Right. We got a lot to talk about. But let's get through the actual episode first.
So, he instructs the kid not to go in there. And we see him. And a lot of people were saying this was Link. And at the time, I didn't see that. I didn't recognize him at all. But having actually, frozen... paused on shots of that character, and then compared it to his actual his publicity pictures without the beard.
Thomas Doherty.
Yes, it very much looks like Thomas Doherty.
Yeah.
This is Link. It absolutely is.
I was with you. I didn't recognize him at first. I think we were supposed to immediately know it was him.
Right.
And we just suck at facial recognition.
Right.
But I think this is exactly the reason that we were shown that ID of, look, here's what I looked like when I was in college.
Right.
So that we would know it was him.
Mm-hmm. He tells him that his business is over, to run, and that this is the luckiest day of his life.
Yeah, he says it might not seem like it, but no, this was the luckiest day of your life. And if Link is 25 in the present scenes, and this was 9 years ago, that means he's about 15 here. Which also aligns with what Henry said earlier about his protege being 10 years younger than the other grad students.
Right. Billy meets back up with Sinatra and says it's done. She asks what does she do if she needs him again. Billy makes fun of her for it, basically saying, "Oh, you're not, you went from being all shaky about this to the frequent customer program. Yeah, do you want a punch card for the job?"
She also tells him what he just did will help save billions of people.
Wow. All he needs is she asks she asks, what do you need if you need me again? And he basically says all he needs is a name and a photograph, and just say they need a breath mint, which means, yup, Baines is dead.
Right.
and
this contextualizes that whole scene
right.
beautifully.
Right from the beginning, I'm like, the way he was antagonizing Snatcher, I'm like, yep, he's a dead man. He's definitely going to die. I didn't think it was going to happen in this episode, but I totally called that she was going to have him killed. Baines is grousing about the burdens of command as he runs. And then she basically has him slow down so that she can, slit his throat.
Yeah. She's like, can we slow down a little? He's like, oh, you need a break? Okay, we can take a break.
And then Jane... Okay, so at this point, I'm thinking she's going to, like, have him, like, take, a drink of water or something, and it's going to be, like, poisoned, or it's going to induce a heart attack or something. I did not expect her to just straight up slit his throat.
Yeah.
I'm not so sure that's the brightest idea, because... As you pointed out at the beginning of this episode, there's a bunch of cameras around.
Right.
And not to mention, does she know for a fact that there are no witnesses anywhere?
Right.
Nobody who's witnessing the scene?
But she's a little crazy, I think.
Yeah, but she was also seen to be smarter than this, like when she killed Billy.
I mean, maybe she'd already took all of that in consideration, and knowing the route of where they were going to run. Like, maybe she's more on top of this than we're seeing.
And, my reaction is, oh, they killed Baines, I don't care. I don't actually... Apologies to Matt Malloy, who did a fantastic job as Baines, but he's not a character that I actually care about. He's not someone I root for. He's not someone that I think is going to do good in any kind of way. He demonstrated in this episode that that's very much not going to be the case.
I'm worried, though, who's taking over next.
Right.
Is it going to get worse?
Right. Yeah, I mean, yeah, well, that goes to something I always say, like, you hate your boss, and you think, oh, yay, the boss got fired. You don't know for sure that it's not going to be replaced by someone worse.
Right. And during this whole scene is when we have Another Day in Paradise playing, the version of the song, and I don't have who performs it, but the version that was used in season 1. And this, of course, is our title of this episode, and it's a beautiful beautiful background to this whole scene playing out.
She also looks at her phone, notices the text message about the 20 question, and I think she looks into her GPS mode to find out where Robinson is.
Yeah, she sees that Robinson's about to catch up with her.
She smiles.
Yeah, because she has a plan. She knows what she's doing.
Right.
She draws an X on his back in his blood.
Yeah.
Making it look like it's aligning with the rebellion.
Right. So Robinson finds Baines, and Robinson is kind of stupid here as well. She doesn't look around, for a possible. She suspects Jane.
Yeah, she was heading to Jane's position, so she knows Jane's around here somewhere.
Right, and she just doesn't pay any attention to her surroundings. Jane ends up knocking her out, and then puts a knife in her hand, framing her for this murder. And Jane calls it in, freaking out. Liar!
She does her beautiful crying act that everybody buys, except, Robinson was the only one not buying it.
Right. At this point, how many people can you be, around suspicious deaths before someone says, this is getting a little weird here?
She's crying and she says, Hercules is down and Robinson did it. Okay,
so we then go deep underground.
Yeah, we're already underground. We went underground another 12 layers.
We didn't end up in the core or anything like that. But yeah, we have this beautiful panning shot down until we see Jeremy being escorted to this prison.
The secret prison.
Right.
The secret underground prison.
He finds Anders, who seems to regret making this place. And Jeremy says, good, because he's going to help him blow the doors open. And then we see Sinatra asking Carmen how Alex is doing.
Ooh, Carmen knows about Alex. Yes. Nobody else seems to.
Alex is doing well, but the project is not ready yet. There's no way to predict exactly how long it's going to take because things are too unpredictable, but she is getting closer.
She is getting closer. And so we're giving Alex, which is some tech, a female persona. So that's interesting.
Yeah. And then we see that Tarabi is listening to this conversation because she bugged Sinatra's office, which is the real reason that she was there in the first place.
Right.
And that is where the episode ends.
That's where the episode ends.
A lot of crazy crap happened in that episode, that's for sure.
And a lot of crazy things that on very first viewing we totally weren't picking up on. And as soon as we started taking notes on episode 1, we went, wait a minute.
Right.
Wait a minute. We got nosebleeds in every episode. We got juju's in 2 of those 3 nosebleed moments.
Right.
We got some weird shit happening.
You have to imagine...
What is Alex? What are we doing? We're doing something. I'm excited for it.
Yep. And, of course, you right away were thinking time travel.
You know, I always want it to be time travel.
Right.
X-Files wants to believe in aliens. I want to believe in time travel. Okay? It is my sci-fi of choice, always.
Yes.
I think it might be on the nose here, though.
Yeah, and I know that there's at least a few people online who agree with you, but also there was a Forbes article that also seemed to think that it was about
there was
time
a Forbes
travel.
article that suggested it. I think the biggest clue is the whole thing with Luge saying the one thing you can't buy is time.
Right.
And I totally feel like Sinatra's the person that's going to say, hold my beer. Yes, I can buy time. I can buy anything I want.
So, we have 3 nosebleeds. The first
Yes.
first time we saw a nosebleed, which is actually chronologically the last nosebleed. Actually, no, it was the second nosebleed. And that was, of course, Link's nosebleed.
Link's nosebleed,
then-
when he was trying to convince Annie to come with him.
And then the second, which I think is the last chronologically, is actually Xavier's nosebleed in the plane.
Airplane, right before the plane goes kapooey.
And then, chronologically speaking, the first nosebleed that actually occurs that we know about.
That doesn't have a zhuzh.
But I think he probably has visions, and it's not.
Well, they didn't show us him having
Right.
visions. The
Right.
other people we know had more going on.
Right, but that was definitely Billy. And my thought at this point is that each of those nosebleeds indicates some kind of change in the timeline.
Okay.
That, whatever reason, maybe Billy in the original timeline actually did kill the kid. So the timeline changes that he did not, in fact, kill the kid.
Now, I want it to be time travel. Even if it's not traditional time travel, I think it's definitely time related.
Right.
It's got something to do with, like, resetting the story.
Mm-hmm.
Fixing the timeline.
Right.
Saving humanity. Saving her son.
Maybe.
Stopping Venus syndrome.
I actually don't think her objective is as small as just saving her son. That might be
I think that's what sparked it.
Right.
But I think that her plan is going to involve saving her son, not just stopping events that happened after her son died. She wants to go back far enough to fix everything.
So, I think maybe there was a change in timeline with Link, where perhaps he stayed. And perhaps that really screwed things up. Because he's actually meant to go back to the bunker, because going back to the bunker is important.
But also going back to the bunker, his objective is to kill Alex. So if you're killing the thing that's causing the changes to happen, what kind of paradoxical shit is that?
Well, maybe it won't actually change. Maybe he won't succeed in killing Alex, but there's another reason he needs to be at the bunker.
To make sure Alex works.
Right.
Even though he thinks his objective is to end it.
Right.
Obviously, Link knows a lot more than we do because he was working on the project.
Right.
And we questioned this before, like, well, how does Link and Geiger even know about Alex? Well, because he's the kid that was building Alex with Henry.
Right.
Wow.
And lastly, Xavier. I'm not sure what happened there, but maybe he did not crash.
I think it has something to do with him crashing where he crashed.
Right.
Which brought him to Annie.
Right.
Which is what's going to bring Annie and the baby to the bunker eventually. Because I think maybe they never would have got there if they don't have Xavier's help.
Right. And that's...
Because maybe he didn't crash there and made it to Atlanta in some timeline.
So for whatever reason, she needs to be at the bunker.
And the baby. I think the baby specifically is important. Yeah. Because how many times were we told, like, oh, the fate of the world is involved here?
Right.
Is this baby some kind of savior somehow?
Right.
And if it's time travel, does that mean the baby could be somebody we already know that gets planted in the past somehow?
Right.
Like, that's possible if we're talking about time travel. Anybody we know that's white could be that baby.
So did you have any alternate takes from what I was just saying?
It's like, I don't have a concrete theory, but
Okay.
there's so many like sporadic little thoughts that pop into my head
Yeah.
that I can't necessarily put into context of anything that's going to make sense. At one point, I know you and I were talking about, like, could different characters be the same character?
Right.
We were suggesting maybe even Link and Geiger are the same person.
Oh yeah. So I've definitely seen sci-fi concepts that do that.
Yeah.
I think something like Predestination has basically almost all the characters in that movie are the same person. Though we don't actually know that for a long period of time.
And then you and I were questioning, like, the kids in episode 2, are they somehow involved in a bigger plot?
Right. I mean, they
like
have
a tiny plot?
Yeah. Like
Maybe
one of them is actually Link somehow, or
I don't buy the main kid being Link because he doesn't really have his complexion or hair color.
I'm actually curious if what kind of time travel are we dealing with?
I don't know. That's the thing. Like something involving time, but what?
Is it kind of like a Sam Beckett deal? Because we did bring up quantum entanglement.
Here's one thought I had.
Okay.
What if it is like leaping? And either they're leaping into their own selves at different points in their story, or other people are leaping into them. Maybe, and this is just total, like, what if that moment where it was different, right? Where we saw Billy get a nosebleed, but not Zhuzhuzh. What if it was the opposite of what the other nosebleeds were? What if that was him having someone leap into him?
Okay.
Specifically for the purpose to not kill Link.
Gotcha.
Could have been Link leaping into him. Saving his own life. Saying, right, you don't know it, but this is the luckiest day of your life.
Right.
Because you were supposed to die here. And in some alternate timeline, I exist and I'm fixing it. Because I already exist, that gets complicated. But maybe the other versions, the Zhuzhuzh moments, weren't someone leaping into them, but them themselves leaping to a different place in time to redo something.
Gotcha.
Or even just looping that same moment until they change their mind and make a different decision or have a different outcome.
Interesting.
Again, these aren't fully formed thoughts. These are just like blips of ideas. But like, could those be opposite types of moments where we're seeing the Zhuzhuzh or not seeing it? Different ends of the same thing.
Gotcha.
Or here's another thought I had. What if when they die, Billy died, instead of him going into an afterlife, Alex sucks up his consciousness, spits him back out in his own timeline again. He doesn't remember it, per se, but there's glimmers.
Some kind of subconscious.
Some glimmers of a life he's already lived, a deja vu, if you will.
That could be why he recognizes what
exactly.
Henry says to
that
him.
bar moment sparked something in him because he's looping his own life.
Gotcha.
Because some part of his consciousness has already lived this.
Right.
Has already done it a different way, and now he's going to do it differently. Because now he's going to do it the way it's supposed to happen, according to Henry.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of possibilities.
Right.
But no matter what, it's something sci-fi happening.
Right. Yeah.
And it's already happening. Like, we're looking at the story from the perspective of it's not ready yet, it's not done yet, she's almost ready. But we're also seeing events where something's already at play. We're seeing the already changed history, if it's about changing history. And it's going to keep changing until we fix the world?
Right.
Maybe?
I guess Sinatrá's whole thing would be like, I don't know, stopping Venus syndrome from happening, stopping the end of the world altogether.
Right. Which means, according to Luge, she has to go back 20 years. So there's got to be a lot of changes that have to happen.
Can she do that herself? Because it would seem to, like, you would need to, like, alter the behaviors of, like, billions of people.
Right, which is why this would need lots of adjustments, not one adjustment.
Right.
Where, I don't know, this savior baby, maybe have something to do with it. Maybe they're going to go back all the way in time and, like, be the force that leads some revolution to save the world.
Wow. This is a big story to tell in 5 episodes.
Right.
I mean, maybe they won't tell the complete story until next season.
Well, we also did get news that
Yes.
we are getting a season 3.
Yeah.
And it's going to be the last season.
Yeah.
So we actually have 13 episodes.
Right.
13 total episodes to tell this story.
Right.
I think we might be going bigger than they are.
Yeah. Probably that's always the case. But yeah, I'm very intrigued to see where this is going for sure. Do you have anything else to say? Any other theories?
I mean, for sure, right? Things we know for sure. Henry seemed to know exactly what was going to happen.
right.
He said, you need this tissue. He knew whatever the nosebleed is, it was about to happen.
Now, either he has some kind of like foresight or kind of like, what's the word for it? He can predict the future. Maybe he sees visions of...
He's been to the Institute?
Right, perhaps. Perhaps he's seen these visions. Precognition, that's what I'm looking for. Perhaps he has that. And that's why he knows what the words to say to Billy.
Right.
And he knows about the nosebleed.
Could be.
Or perhaps he's already experienced it.
Right. Or, maybe Alex isn't so much about time travel, but something to do with probability matrices.
Right.
Or...
The other thing you brought up off air is if Henry seems to want Sinatra to have this technology. So why doesn't he
He's accepting of the fact that this is meant to be?
So why doesn't he just give it to her in the first place?
Right.
Rather than,
why
like,
doesn't
die?
he sign the paper?
Right.
Because he needs to die?
Maybe.
Is him dying a part of it?
Perhaps.
Does he need to die in order to move on to the next level of whatever Alex is?
Yes.
One thought I remember having at some point was this something to do with the consciousnesses being uploaded into Alex, into a Matrix type situation?
Right.
Or, like I said earlier, if when you die, you just go back and loop again. And maybe he knows that. Maybe when he dies, he knows he's going to go back and start over. He's going to go back to a time when him and his wife were together because she wasn't sick yet.
Maybe.
Is he going to go relive those 50-50 weather conditions with her? And that's what he meant by I'll see you soon, because he's about to go relive it again, because that's what happens when you die because of Alex.
Right. Maybe.
And you know what all this makes me want to do? It makes me want to watch season 1 again. I want to know if we saw anybody get nosebleeds in season 1. I want to know if anybody needed a breath mint. Has that line ever been said before?
No, I'm pretty sure that was the first time was in this episode. I don't think that line was ever uttered.
But it could have been.
It could have been.
And we just never clocked it as meaning anything.
Right. It's quite possible.
And it's very possible characters got nosebleeds, and we totally didn't catch on because it felt in place, but it was out of place.
Gotcha. Yeah, maybe.
I mean, I feel like they didn't come up with this whole plot line out of nowhere. I mean, maybe they did, but...
They could have. Maybe they told their season 1 and they weren't sure if they were going to get a second season.
And they went, now what?
And now they're expanding upon it and going into the sci-fi time travel-y direction.
Feels like definitely they're telling a bigger story now than...
Yeah.
Because season 1 was like, oh, cool, it's a murder mystery.
Yeah, it was a political...
Set in this, futuristic... setting, and the setting's a little sci-fi.
Right.
But now, suddenly, the story's going to be sci-fi. I don't know if the audience is ready for this. I'm a little scared. I've seen some people already very confused about things we already saw in these 3 episodes. Because I think... I know this is a very popular show. Lots of people are watching it. Which means there's definitely people watching this that don't watch the kind of shit we watch.
Yes.
That don't watch From... They don't watch puzzle box mysteries.
Even some of the audience that watches From doesn't watch shows like From.
Right.
and we deal with that all the time.
But you know that's the kind of show you're watching when you get
Right.
into sci-fi shows.
Mm-hmm.
People who are watching Paradise, that's not what they signed up for.
Right. They're not... Yeah, it was more like a political thriller.
They're like, yeah, I'm watching, this show about Secret Service and the president being killed. And,
right.
And, okay, now it's this dystopian future or whatever, but that doesn't mean their interests are going to align with where this is going.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know where this is going, but it's going somewhere different than season 1, for sure.
It definitely is going to be crazy, for sure.
One other parallel I noticed while we were doing this episode that I wanted to bring up is the whole summer thing.
Okay.
So Baines is like, you know what they don't have down here that they had up there? Summer. And everybody thinks he's ridiculous because that's a ridiculous solution right now. But Remember, the survivors up there didn't have summer for 3 years either.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
They were living in winter for 3 years. They just now got their sun back. So that feels like an interesting comparison that both the survivors in the bunker and the survivors on the surface all didn't have summer. That's what they're missing, right? According to Baines. And also, looking at Venus syndrome, what comes next after us being in this winter for 3 years? The world's going to heat up, and now we're going to, overheat and blow up.
Right.
So I feel like there's a parallel there with Baines saying, let's heat up the bunker and make summer. And, that's where we're going. Our story's going to go to the world heating up.
That's interesting. I actually also am curious if the bunker would survive the Venus syndrome. If the bunker would survive the heating up like that.
And you know what I didn't get from Luge's, short explanation of this is how long would that take?
Right.
What's the timeline we're looking at?
Because at this point, he's gotten to the point where there's the lull in the storm because the sun has come back out. So this is the point where everyone's going, we made it. And then how long does it take to get to the point that he was talking about where...
Right. And obviously we can believe that that's what's happening because he was right so far about everything else. Right. So we're being told he's the one who really knows shit and we can trust what he's saying is what's happening to the world.
Right.
And, by Sinatra saying to Billy, you just saved billions of people, she's not talking about the thousands of people in the bunker.
Yes.
She's talking about humanity. She's talking about saving the world before any of this happened. Stopping it 20 years ago.
In which case, Sinatra actually isn't the villain of this story.
Right. She just has very strict, the ends justify the means.
Yeah, and not to mention that if she succeeds in what she's doing, all the people she's killed are actually going to come back to life.
Yeah, but then I'm so confused because Link and Geiger are we have to stop Alex. So why do they think this has to be shut down?
Right. Yeah.
If the whole point is to save the world. And the only person who knows more about this than Sinatra and whoever's working for her is Link.
Right.
Because he built the thing. So why is he trying to stop it?
Right. Clearly he thinks it's a...
Or is it just because we don't want it in her hands?
Right. I don't know. He says that this is a big, dangerous thing, so...
Yeah, he was telling Annie, there's something in the bunker that you wouldn't understand if I tried explaining it to you, but it's dangerous. And it's not a giant shark.
Unfortunately not. So... For whatever reason, he thinks that this thing is dangerous, and maybe he has cause to do so because he's already seen what actually happens.
Right.
So perhaps Sinatra is trying to save the world, but she doesn't actually save the world at all. She dooms it somehow.
Right. I don't know. I'm super excited. I cannot wait. We have a new episode coming out Monday. 4 more after that. I can't believe we're about to be halfway through the season already. Then we got to wait another year for the next 8.
Right.
I want to know. I want to watch it. I want to watch all 13 right now. I want to know what happened.
Well, if we'd gotten screeners, it's quite possible that we could have seen more. But...
and I'm super excited that this story, which we were enjoying, because we like Dan Fogelman, we like Sterling K. Brown. It was a good show. But now it's turning into the kind of show we actually live for. And I'm so excited for that. I'm so excited that not only, we knew going into a season that was new and podcasting about it when we don't know what comes next was going to give us a chance to, theorize and do all this. But that just, flipped on its head to the things that we really, truly, passionately love theorizing about, which is sci-fi.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So I'm so excited. I cannot wait. What do you guys think?
Right.
What do you think is Alex? Did you pick up on all of these things that we picked up? The nosebleeds and the zhuzh and the Billy in the bar moment. What did you pick up in the first 3 episodes that we missed?
Right, absolutely.
What clues have we not thought of yet? So we can work together to try and figure this out as we go forward. Let's theorize together because we have not seen more. We do not have screeners for this. We are watching it live with you, the audience. Let's do this together. Let's figure this shit out. I can't wait.
All right. Do you have anything else to say before concluding?
I don't. I can't wait.
All right. We'd like to hear from you. What did you think of this episode? What did you think of this podcast? Do you have any crazy theories? Do you have everything that Stacie just said? Stacie can be reached at.
I can be reached on Twitter, X, Instagram, Threads, and Blue Sky at TV and Coupon Talk.
If you like this video and want to support the channel, there are a number of ways to do so. You can follow us on Twitter at Core Productions. You can join the Core Productions Facebook page. You can buy something from the Core Productions store on Zazzle. You can buy me a coffee. You can join the Core Productions membership starting at 99 cents a month. And of course, you can like, share, and comment on this video, as well as subscribe to the channel. This is Dave and Stacie from Core Productions, signing off.